Once upon a time, near a dark forest, lived a poor woodcutter in a cottage with his wife and his children, Hansel and Gretel. Food was scarce, and many nights they went to bed hungry. One cold evening, the stepmother said angrily, "We have no food. Tomorrow we must take the children deep into the forest and leave them there." The woodcutter's heart broke. He loved Hansel and Gretel dearly, but fear and hunger made him agree. But Hansel and Gretel had been awake. They heard everything. Gretel cried, but Hansel comforted her. When the moon rose high, he slipped quietly outside and filled his pockets with shiny white pebbles that glimmered in the moonlight. The next morning, the stepmother led them deep into the woods. Hansel, clever as ever, dropped a pebble every few steps, marking their path. The mother asked them to wait for her while she is away for cutting wood, but she never returned. When night came, the forest grew cold and still. "Hansel, I'm afraid." "Don't worry, Gretel. When the moon rises, the pebbles will show us the way home." And so they did. The pebbles sparkled like little stars, leading them safely back to their father's cottage. Their father was happy to see them back, but the stepmother was furious. A few days later, when the bread was gone again, she said to herself sharply, "This time, I'll take them deeper into the woods, where they'll never return." Hansel heard her secretly, and he tried to gather more pebbles, but the door was locked. So next morning, he broke his bread into crumbs and dropped them along the way instead. Stepmother again instructed them to wait for her while she is back, and like last time, she never returned. But when night came and the moon shone bright, the crumbs were gone. The birds of the forest had eaten every one. Lost and hungry, Hansel and Gretel wandered through the forest. The next morning, they came across the most marvelous house they had ever seen, built of gingerbread and sugar, with windows made of candy glass. They both were in awe. Then the door creaked open, and out stepped an old woman. The children froze. Her eyes were sharp as coals, but her voice was sweet as syrup. "Come in, my dear children. You must be tired and hungry." Inside, she served them lots of candies, but Hansel and Gretel did not know the old woman was a witch who built her house to lure lost children. Hansel and Gretel nibbled happily inside the candy cottage, believing they had found safety at last. Suddenly, the old woman tricked Hansel and locked her inside a peppermint cage. In an instant, she transformed into a wicked witch. "You'll grow plump in there, little one, and soon I shall feast." From that moment on, Gretel was forced to cook, clean, and obey every command. Each night, the witch grabbed Hansel's finger to see if he had grown fat enough to eat. But the clever children made a plan. Gretel hid the witch's glasses, and Hansel held out a tiny bone instead of his finger. Half blind and furious, the witch grew angrier every day. One morning, the witch snapped, "Fat or thin, tomorrow I'll eat him. Light the oven." Gretel's hands shook as she lit the fire. When the oven roared hot, the witch leaned in to reach Hansel, but brave Gretel pushed her inside. A burst of magical sparks filled the room. The spell broke, and Hansel's cage flew open. The children hugged, free at last. Together, Hansel and Gretel found the witch's treasure chest, filled with gold and sparkling jewels. "These will keep Father safe forever." They filled their sacks and walked through the forest until they reached a calm, wide lake. A gentle white duck carried them safely across the water. At last, they came home. Their father rushed to them with tears of joy. The stepmother was gone, and peace returned to the cottage. And so, Hansel and Gretel lived happily ever after. Never hungry, never afraid, and always together. For courage and kindness will always lead the way home, even from the darkest forest.